Hello, good morning. It's a beautiful day here in Illinois. My name is Mark Becker. I'll be presenting a short lesson on identifying theme to you all there at Cristo Rey. Let's jump right into it because our time is short. So, my goals for today, for this brief video, are threefold. First, I want to build off of what you already know about theme. I want to get involved with your current thinking about it and build off of that as a foundation. Then we're going to define theme together and discuss how to identify it, and we're going to do that specifically in the third point by identifying theme and giving specific examples. We're going to look at a poem by Langston Hughes and give specific examples to back up what you think the theme is in the poem and justify it. So let's briefly though, because we want to know what you already know about theme, if you have time, please pause the video and respond to these two questions. This is going to be our kind of a working basis. We're going to come back to this and critique it at the end of the lesson to update and bring in any new information that you take in during this short video. So again, if you have time, please pause it and look at what is a theme and how do you identify it. For our purposes, we are going to define theme as a message or a lesson which the author wants you to take away from a text. A message or a lesson the author wants you to take away from a text. And we have three proofs here to be able to back up what you think a theme might be. And this is important because a theme can be kind of tricky to find. These three things are going to help us get really specific and find out if we're on the right track or not. So first of all, theme is based on a specific reference to the text. It's using specific examples, what the characters did, what the author's saying. Theme addresses the text as a whole in the context of the poem we're looking at. It's not just one stanza or one word or one sentence. You try to take the entirety of the poem into account. Theme applies to multiple texts. So it must be able to be generalized across a lot of texts. It can't just be about the one text we're looking at, or in this case, the one poem we're looking at. I kind of look at theme as like a treasure hunt or an excavation. We're digging underneath the surface, and that in a lot of ways means digging into history. In this case, we're looking at Langston Hughes, who was writing during the 1920s, and so he's going to be talking about things that were going on during that time. You might see some common themes that are still active today, but we're digging underneath the history of America through this poem, I Too. And to me, that's a really fun process. That's a part of what finding theme is all about. Just a little bit about Langston Hughes, though, just so you know where he's coming from. He was a playwright, a poet, an activist, a columnist. He was super active during his time. He was really prolific. He was really influential in founding a new style of poetry during the time they called jazz poetry, influenced by jazz rhythms and jazz music. Which was really free form. It kind of broke free of a lot of the rules during the time, which is really exciting. And it was all part of his leadership and his influence in the Harlem Renaissance in 1920s New York, which we know kind of changed the scene of art in America as a whole. If we had more time, we'd go into Langston Hughes because he's amazing. But let's just dive into his poem, I Too. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. If we had more time, we'd really go in depth into this poem. It says a lot. We'd talk about the characters, we would talk about the plot, what's happening in the poem. Where is it happening? What's the setting? Unfortunately, we don't have time for all those things. So we're going to look at the theme worksheet that hopefully you have in front of you, and then I'm going to give you an example of how I completed the worksheet. So again, if you have time, please pause the video and complete that worksheet, giving us your idea of what's a message or a lesson the author is wanting you to take away in your own words there on the first prompt. The second prompt underneath it, I want you to give specific examples from the poem using quotes from the poem and giving your justification of how does that prove that your theme is accurate. So again, give us an idea, a central idea, a message, a lesson, and prove it at the bottom, giving specific examples. we're going to look at just briefly, because we don't have the ability to go back and forth with each other and look at the work that you've done. We're going to give just an example of kind of what I'm looking for. So this is one of the themes that I found. There's multiple themes in this poem, so this isn't the only theme. This is just what I took away. I took away from the poem, if you really see someone's humanity, you should be ashamed of injustice and inequality. How do I know that? I have to prove it. So, they send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. A specific reference, a specific quote. And that's an obvious referral to the injustice of Jim Crow segregation, racial segregation during the time, which is a theme that comes up in the poem. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. The speaker is naming their humanity, their most human qualities. They're claiming it, demanding it be seen. It's a really important reference. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and they'll be ashamed. They're making it clear those who've committed this injustice need to be ashamed and change what they've been doing and make it right and make amends. And so again, does this give specific references to the text? Yes, it gives 3. So the first point, yes. The second point, does it look at the text as a whole? Yes, I look at 3 different stanzas here. I'm not looking at one line or one sentence or one word. I'm trying to give examples from different places in the poem to get a look at the whole. And 3, can it be applied to other texts? Yes. Issues of injustice, inequality, and seeing humanity are common during this time and ever since then in poems and stories, songs, and lots of writing. So yes, if you can answer yes to all 3 of those proofs, you've done great work. So again, if you have a minute, just to conclude, I want you to pause the video and let's revisit the definition that you put down at the beginning of what you think a theme is and how do you identify it. What needs to be changed about it? Scratch things out, erase, write a new statement even. In your own words, what needs to be changed. And that's an important part of the learning process. We all need to be willing to put things down on paper and revisit them and say, you know what, here's where I was onto something, here's where I needed more information. So with the new information that you have, what needs to be changed about your definition that you provided at the beginning? So take a brief time, if you have, to look at that. Otherwise, if we had more time, we'd go into why is this important? Why is this a part of being a strong reader? Making the connections between this skill and enjoy the real deep enjoyment of reading and writing and putting your mindset in the mindset of a writer. But unfortunately, we don't have time. So I really enjoyed putting this together. I'm really excited about the work that you all are doing down in Baton Rouge at Cristo Rey, and I hope to be in touch with you about how I can support that mission. So thanks again for your time and letting me submit this video, and I hope to be in touch. Blessings on your day.